Hello, it's Jennifer Harding Marlin. Today's video is going to talk about the Antigua and Barbuda Citizenship by Investment Program for 2023 and a little bit about all you need to know about the Antigua Citizenship by Investment Program. So the Antigua program is proving to be quite popular for 2023, and I believe this is in part due to the fact that they have not introduced a lot of changes. Many other citizenship by investment programs have introduced changes, although Antigua has maintained a lot of the same offerings that it has in the past. And so I'm going to talk about the different options for citizenship. So Antigua is a really beautiful country. There's over 365 beaches, one for every day of the year. They have white sand, crystal blue water. My advice for anyone who's going to go swimming, you might want to double check if there's jellyfish at certain beaches prior to going in the water. I've learned through experience, having been to Antigua many times and spent time in the country. So I'll talk a little bit more also about things to do towards the end of this video. But the Antigua and Barbuda Citizenship Program, when you get the passport, you have visa-free travel to over 140 countries, including South Africa. So a lot of the other citizenship by investment programs do not have visa-free to South Africa, whereas with the Antigua passport you do. You have a really wide range of visa-free options. As well, at Antigua and Barbuda, there's no personal income tax. So if you do decide to reside in the country, it's a really tax-favorable jurisdiction to be in. And Antigua, what's interesting about Antigua is that it is one of the most family-friendly options for citizenship. And this is because you can include children that are below the age of 30 who are financially dependent on the main applicant or the spouse. And you can include parents that are above the age of 55 and or grandparents above the age of 55 that are financially dependent on the main applicant or spouse. What's really interesting about the Antigua program is that you can include a sibling. The sibling, there's no additional cost for the sibling, and the sibling does not necessarily need to be financially dependent on the main applicant. So this is really interesting because we've done cases where there have been a group of brothers. So one of them has children and a wife, and another one is single, doesn't have children, doesn't have a spouse, and they were able to be included. So if you want to be considered a sibling, you have to be non-married and not have children, and you can be financially independent, so you can live in a completely different area in the States, for example, or elsewhere, making your own money with your own company, and you can still be considered a sibling. When you're considered a sibling, you cannot pass down the citizenship to future children and or a future spouse. So if that's something that's important to you, then that's a factor you may want to consider. But Antigua and Barbuda is definitely like one of the more family-friendly options in terms of being able to include the most wide range of people for citizenship in a family application. So now I'm going to talk about the different options. So one is a donation option to the National Transformation Fund, and this is often the most popular option. It starts at $100,000 for a family of 4 or below. So they advertise that it's $100,000, but in reality, there's a $30,000 processing fee. So it's $130,000, and then there's an additional due diligence fees, legal fees, agent fees, passport fees, bank charges. So it becomes much more than $130,000. So if you want a detailed quote specific to your case, along with a breakdown of fees, you can get in contact with us, and I'll put my email in the description below. But basically, the fees will depend on how many people are included in the application, what the relationship are to the main applicant, the different ages of the persons that are included in the application. So the cost can range widely depending on these factors. And then if you are a family of 5, then the fees jump. And what's really interesting about Antigua and Barbuda is they have the University of West Indies option, which starts at $150,000. This is inclusive of the processing fees for a family of 6. So we've done quite a few families of 6 that have chosen this option because it's a more cost-effective for a larger family, a family of 6. Then there's also a real estate option starting at US $200,000 plus a $30,000 processing fees. Again, there's legal fees, due diligence fees, additional fees on top of that, or a $400,000 option for real estate with all these fees as well. It's really important to note that the real estate option has to be government approved designated real estate, so it has to be designated for citizenship. You can't just go ahead and buy any real estate in Antigua. It really needs to be one that qualifies. And interesting to note is that Antigua is a more recent citizenship by investment program, so they do not have as many options for real estate compared to some other Caribbean islands. it's important to verify if the real estate is in fact built, since some of the real estate may not be finished or may not be to the standard that you're looking for. So really just making sure that if you're doing the real estate option, that it meets your criteria. Then there's a business investment option, which starts at 1.5 million for a single person and or 5 million for a joint venture. So if you're interested in this option, you would need to get in touch with us, and we need to verify that this business investment in Antigua would be something that you could that could be approved. So these are just like an overview of the options. Again, if you want more specific information specific to your case, you can feel free to get in touch with us. My email is jennifer@jhmarlin.com. I'll put it in the description below. So more about like the documentation requirements for Antigua. Unfortunately, Antigua is one of the citizenship by investment programs that requires the most amount of documents. If you have documents that are from a country that's member of the Hague Convention on Apostles, you'll need to get documents apostilled. So for example, if you're from the United States, you'll have to get your documents apostilled. Again, some countries it's difficult, especially with the backlog and COVID, all the backlog from COVID and everything that's going on in the world. So this can sometimes be difficult for certain people. We're happy to guide you through the process. And then what else was I going to say? Oh yes, so there's a lot of document requirements. You need to have like a professional reference letter, a bank reference letter, 12 to 24 months of bank statements. You also need to provide 2 proofs of address, for example, a utility bill and or like even certificate of title if you own the property. So there's a lot of documentation requirements. As well, you need to declare your entire net worth. So you need to provide a breakdown of how much real estate you own, how much investments you own. So if you're someone that feels uncomfortable providing such a detailed breakdown, then maybe Antigua is not the option for you, but some people do it. And then, so, once we get through the documentation hurdle, and one thing that we suggest to all our clients is to try to do everything in a day. We try to help you as much as we can by typing the forms and helping guide you and, organizing everything. But there are documents that we don't have access to, such as like your utility bill. We don't have access to your bank account, bank statements, or personalized information that only you would know. So as a client, there is work that you will need to do in an application. And so we suggest just setting aside a specific time period and just, going all out to do the documents all at once so that you never have to think about it again. We have people that have hired other firms and other people to help them and then have come to us trying to sort it out. I think that the best thing that you can do is try to just follow the instructions, as well as try to do everything all at once. There are time limits on certain documents, and each document needs to be prepared in a specific way. So prior to going out and doing documents, it's probably best to hire someone that's done it before that can help you, because if not, Antigua's probably the one where people tend to abandon the most because of the high volume of documents that are required. So just keep that in mind if you are doing Antigua and citizenship. But again, the passport is highly ranked. Of all the citizenship by investment programs, it's one of the higher ranked passports. You have visa free to over 140 countries, like I mentioned. I also mentioned you have visa free to South Africa. It is a country where there's no personal income tax. It's also a really nice country in terms of lifestyle. I mean, I could start naming you a lot of really nice beaches. There's a lot of nice lookout points. Different areas like Jolly Harbor, English Harbor, where a lot of expats live and have homes. There's a really beautiful yacht marina. So every year they have yacht regattas. So it's really nice to go see some of the biggest boats in the world. I'm so impressed by seeing the Maltese Falcon docked at the marina in Antigua. There's lots of really nice restaurants. There's nice people on island and a growing local and expat community. And so there's a nice community in Antigua, and if you're someone that's into sailing, then there's sailing lessons and sailing opportunities and different opportunities in Antigua and Barbuda. And so if you have any specific questions about Antigua and Barbuda, or you saw that I didn't cover something in this video that you'd like me to cover, feel free to reach out and I can do further videos about Antigua and Barbuda. You can visit our website and I'll provide that in the link below. All the best. Bye for now. Bye.